So, welcome. We have the self. It's like the self, the I, the me, the you, and the us. Those are just individual selves. The self. So, of self, it's the time, space, and structure. That's what we're working this morning with: imagination, intuition, intention, rest and recovery, willingness, and to feel free to fill in any ones I've left out.
Alive.
The
Mm,
line, and I don't know.
mm. Oh, and energy. It's like the
Energy.
mind, the
Mm,
body, the spirit,
mm.
the structure of the self, the mind, body, spirit, and interpreting the energy between the three. It's like aware that we are, it's just a conversion of energy.
Mm.
And so that's what we've been giggling about this morning.
Mm.
Just just feeling the energy in the room. Silence can be uncomfortable at first, but it is sure welcome. and necessary for alignment.
Silence, we have an opportunity to use intuition or the imagination
Mm.
and begin a new creation of energy flow.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. And what word will you take with you today?
I'll go with the expansion.
Mm. I'm gonna stay with intention. Awareness of my intention.
Open willingness.
Mm.
Mm.
That's nice, Jess.
I can just feel myself trying to force
Mm.
something into the silence.
I feel I'm noodling with all those balloons right now, figuring out which one to pull on.
Mhm.
And it's the same like you saying, trying to force
And it's very subtle.
Mm.
Because you think there's not much resistance in the silence.
Mm.
Mm.
There can be a wall of resistance in silence.
Exactly, which is what I was trying to alleviate for others.
Mm. One brick at a time.
Mhm.
It's like with the hot air balloons, one bag at a time you drop.
And you only melt ice from the outside in.
Mm.
Oh, that's a hard one. And very true.
So the neutral self, aligning the neutral self, aligning a self to neutral. And what is? Is there a fear or a resistance to neutral? A conditioned fear to neutral?
Mm. I don't know if it's so much that it's a fear of neutral, but it's a fear of letting go of being right.
And some people do thrive with charges.
Yeah, because being right protects, right?
Addicted to charges.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That keeps the self from finding, aligning to neutral.
Yeah, and to its true self and its real power.
Mhm.
funny. One thing that just came to me was full steam ahead.
We experienced that one yesterday.
Instead of just no steam, go in the flow ahead.
Hmm.
And freeze is not going anywhere.
But that full steam ahead self sounded so much calmer this morning. Mm. The I awareness. The I is the inner, the internal, the me awareness. Am I neutral? What could neutral be like? That's working the charge.
Mm,
It's awareness of the charge.
Mm.
Positive, negative, neutral. The middle. Why does the neutral middle matter? It's easier to go to see the positive or the negative from there, to see
mm,
it for what it is. Because when you're in it, if you are negatively charged, right, that's really all you see.
yeah.
And if you're positively charged, which is fine, like positive is much better than negative. There's more space. But and in the positive, you don't really can see much of the negative. Neutral,
That's
you
the
can
observer.
see, you can observe all of it. Yeah, either
Mhm.
one.
And then it comes back to Allison's master. If you're looking at the positive or the negative, you're gonna miss the whole picture.
Mhm.
You don't see it for what it is.
Nope.
Mm.
It's kind of like having to hear the whole story without making a judgment.
Mhm.
But then
Yeah.
again, even though you hear the story, behavior is still the highest form of communication.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter how positive or negative you get, it won't change the story.
If you're seeing the whole story.
Yeah.
I think others can see our behaviors better than we can see our behaviors.
Oh, yeah.
There's definitely truth in that, but there's also, I mean, when you said that, Jess, what came to me immediately was when I see somebody else's behavior, I see it through my prism that's available to me at that point in time.
Yep.
And so I don't know if that is better or if that is a more true understanding of the behavior than the person that is behaving.
And that creates the ease of judging other behavior, the behaviors of others. It makes it easier.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the addicted, the conditioned behavior.
Yeah.
To protect the I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
Because, oh my God, what would happen if you were wrong?
Yeah.
No, can you be wrong? Could you be wrong? The question is just an opportunity for space.
And bigger learning.
And expanding learning, yep. Expanding awareness, you bet. But you got to step into the door first.
Mm.
That's the problem with the judger. You don't have to look at yourself.
Mm.
It's already assumed.
Mm.
You're exactly right, Mona. It's like what we're looking for is the space, right? The space. Is it expanding, contracting, or neutral? Which means it could go either way.
I can
Neutral is,
speak to that space
please.
in a relationship that I'm having with my sister or lack of a relationship. It's not expanding at all. In her perspective, she keeps looking for the things that say I haven't changed. She's looking to confirm her belief system.
Oof. Yeah.
So anything that I've done to create forward movement for myself because of her belief system and her looking to validate what she thinks, it doesn't allow for change or growth.
Mhm.
There's no space for that.
Mm.
Yep. Now, that doesn't restrict you, though.
No.
Right? It's so, and then it's like what I hear there is like, so she, right? Not you, she is holding on to the past.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, she kept telling me I was the one hanging on to the past.
No.
Mm. Mm.
So when I found a way to quit hanging on to the past, it's easier for me to see somebody else that's hanging on to the past
Yes, because you walked through the door.
Yeah.
Now, that does nothing for those that are still hanging on to it.
No.
Their willingness to see it isn't there, but you understand what it took.
Yeah.
That makes you a guide.
Not in my family.
Well,
Other people maybe, but not in my family.
not yet. That's holding on to the past too. That's not making any room for what could be.
That's
Like,
true. My dad's really done some growth moves on his own. He got this contract from the gym that told him what he could and couldn't do. And the other day we were having a snack and he speaks up and he says, you know what? I really like what I'm doing at the gym and I like having the experience I'm having. And I'm like, you know what? They asked you to do this a long time ago. You could have been having this experience a long time ago, but you were too busy being you.
what do you say to that?
He didn't disagree with it. He agreed with it. He goes, you're right.
Maybe he's just one of those people who needs it on paper to actually do something about it.
Apparently, he does. They should have done this a long time ago. But he didn't get upset about it, which was really cool.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And he's got Joe's book, Break the Habit of Being Yourself.
Hmm.
So it's not like he doesn't have the information. He just chooses not to use it.
Willingness is a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, when you're as old as he is and he thinks everything in his life he did right, even
Yeah.
when he made mistakes, to say something like, you're right, is a big deal for him.
You bet. For most of us, I was there. I couldn't say that because that meant I was wrong.
This who?
Me. Who else
Just
matters?
because other people are right doesn't make that you wrong.
I I can see that now, Heinz. Like I can see that doesn't matter anymore. But at the time, it was the most important thing. It was the protection.
Mm.
It's silly when you see it. It's silly when you see it.
It was that one world view instead of allowing the world just to be the world.
That's right. It was the attachment to it, like attached to it. It had to be conditioning, right? Conditioned that it had to be this way.
Mm.
Limited, limited.
It's so, I find it so interesting, Mona, your story with your dad, because this has been a journey with him. And I wonder what it is about his experience there now that that is enjoyable for him compared to, you know, how he used to be.
Yeah. He's learning to be a person that just attends the gym, not somebody that tries to take the class over and run it.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, that's just, I'd be so interested to hear from him. What about that does
I'll
he
have to ask
enjoy?
him that question.
Hmm.
That's an interesting question.
Mm.
Because what I
There's-
made up with it, you know, what came to me was he had boundaries set for him, and in a way that he it would seem that he'd never had them set like that before.
No, not in writing. If you tell him something, he used to just cross the boundary because he could. He's getting better about when certain topics come up, it's easier to change the topic because it's not one that's serving anybody.
Mm. That's awareness.
Yeah. Usually he's not the one that changes his topic, but that's okay. At least he'll go along with it, and that's the important thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I find interesting is that we've been talking about the importance of expansion, and you bring in this story, and this story has got, for me, has got the importance of boundaries.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed before is that boundaries can facilitate expansion, and we don't always realize that.
Boundaries create focus.
Sorry, Hans, say that again.
Boundaries create focus.
Ah, very
That's
good.
very true.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yes, they do bring focus because my dad has a copy of that in his locker. He reads it every day when he goes to gym.
It's amazing.
And the focus brings awareness. And the awareness
Yes.
brings change.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I think about it now also, that so there's a focus, and there's also boundaries also contain things. And when the container is strong, then you can drop deep.
Mm.
And that's where your expansion then comes from. Hmm. Time, space, and structure of self.
And by having it written down, it brings some structure. It's not just a verbal suggestion. It's written down rules.
So what if somebody told one of us that we haven't changed, such as Mona's sister?
For me, it's her stuff because I know that what I've gone through, the kind of growth I've had. So if that's her assumption, then it's her stuff because she's not allowing space.
And so what does she keep doing to you? Not from you, like what is she?
Well, let me give you an example. My sister is apparently big on calling people out on their shit. And that's her frame of reference because I sent her a message and I asked her when she went to visit my children and when she talked to them if she would not talk about what's going on in my life because she doesn't know. And she really doesn't know. And she got very upset with me. And she sent another message and she said that she was calling me out. So when she said that, I knew that that's what she was thinking whenever she got my message. And all I was doing was asking her nicely, let's not talk about what you think is going on in my life, because that's not helpful to my already estranged relationship with my kids. And she has shown up in their life only after her daughter died.
Mm.
So she's using my children to soothe whatever guilt she has, to try and make up for whatever mistakes I made, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know. All I know is her action, her behavior, is she has shown up
Mm.
in a place she's never shown up before and only after this particular event.
Mm.
Yes.
Well, it's so much easier to look at everyone else than look at herself.
Thank you,
Mm.
Hans.
Yeah.
And that's the tell, that's the sign, that's the signal, is that, well, they're waiting for everyone else to change, but it doesn't work that way. They have to change.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's not in, that is not how it works in their mind.
She even got upset about the fact that my ex-husband, my kids' dad, and I had been in touch together. She didn't like that either.
Do you see how it's mingling in everyone else's business except for taking care of their own?
Mm.
Yep.
Instead of like looking at their own, it's like everybody else. And so it's that conditioning out there to change everything out there, thinking it's going to change it in here. But you'll see the insanity of it, it doesn't.
He's so focused on the outside in.
Yep. Rather than the inside out.
Yeah. That takes hard work or work at least.
Mm-hmm. And those that do it understand what it takes.
Yeah.
And it's not something you do in a week or something. It's something you do the rest of your life.
Oh, I mean, I just don't need to do it one time. Yeah, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing then,
Mm,
right?
great answer. Great answer.
That keeps her safe.
Yep.
Doing what she's doing is keeping her safe.
Yep. So safety is not always the right way.
No.
Mhm.
And that safe is only according to herself.
Mhm. To a fixed view of it. Yep.
Yeah.
To a skewed view. And the feelings, right, are trying to say something.
Yeah. I probably didn't make matters better though, because her and her daughter were estranged before she passed away.
Mm.
And I kind of pointed that out to her, that she was already lost before she passed on. You lost your relationship with her before then. So now she's trying to make up for it by using other people's kids. I'm sure she
Well,
didn't like that remark.
well, maybe she's moving just not for the right reasons. She's doing it for her own sake,
Yeah.
talking to other people instead of doing it for their sake.
It's like we'll take our patterns everywhere with us.
Yeah.
Mm.
If we do it in one area, we do it in all of them.
Yeah.
That's why it's so blind to us. And we can't see them by ourselves.
And if you're always right, you won't let anybody else point it out.
Bingo.
Even
And
if
the
you get
funny
a great,
part is,
sorry,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, even if you get a great book that makes you actually try to look at yourself and just say, well, that's a lot of boo.
Yeah.
And so they say, be the change you want to see.
Mm.
Mm.
But no, it's yours. It's you. You are doing it to me. Probably the most defiant thing there can be.
It's way easier than taking responsibility.
Yep.
Mm. Unfortunately.
Until you've started taking a lot of that responsibility, then it actually becomes easier than pointing fingers at others.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's so unfortunate that initially it's easier.
That's what keeps us stuck in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's like, so what if you're wrong?
Mm.
So what?
Yeah, so what? Like, what is it all gonna fall apart like you think?
Mm.
Probably gonna go like little chicken. The sky is falling.
That's right. Isn't that what we're already doing? If you look at like, isn't that what's already happening?
Yep. Hmm. And once you start judging others, you'll stop judging yourself.
Oh, God.
So before you get to the inside out, you can actually start from the outside in. Stop doing it to others, and you stop doing it to yourself. For
I
people
agree
that
with that
live,
statement.
yeah, for people that live from the outside in, you can actually work backwards to the other way through neutral.
And so I think the importance of allowing doesn't mean you agree, doesn't mean you disagree. It's just an allow.
Yep.
If you think like that word is neutral in itself,
Mm,
just like will, your word of calm, it's like calm is a neutral word.
mm,
We think of it as a positive. It's like, oh, we want that in our life. So we think of it as positive. But once you're there, it's like, no, it's really just a neutral because you're going from a negative situation to a better one. Doesn't move it to I mean, it moves it in the direction of positive, but it doesn't make it a positive.
mm.
It's just like better. Better is just a neutral space. I want it better than the negative. Well, one
Yeah.
step better than a negative is neutral. We have to get to neutral. If you're going in reverse, which I'd call negative, you're going in reverse, you can't just slam it into drive.
Mm.
Do you'll blow up the transmission.
Exactly. And our bodies are energy, or we can't do it ourselves that way either. Yet we think like we expect it. We think we can. That's how we want it. But it doesn't. Like get used to neutral and then you can.
Mm.
It's like right or wrong. How about maybe? Yeah. I'll allow you to be right and allow myself to be right. Hmm. It removes the fight because fighting is very limited and constricted.
Mm.
I have customers coming in, so I'm gonna let you guys go and I will talk to you tomorrow or Monday.
All right.
Bye, Mona.
Bye,
Bye,
Mona.
Have a pleasant day, Mona.
Have a lovely day and have a lovely evening.
Thank
You
you.
Thank you.
too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, what would we wrap up eye awareness around this morning?
Mm.
Don't know.
A lot to do
Willing.
with choices.
Yeah.
What you choose.
And willingness to, just willingness to explore.
Willingness to allow.
Yes. That's your first step. Thank you, Hans.
Mm. We are doing it together, so we are all doing the steps.
Mm.
Yeah. And, mm, I don't know is the very first move into neutral
Mm.
because it is a letting go of the attachments.
It's opening up to other possibilities.
Hmm. And melting that ice cube.
Mm.
From the outside in.
Mhm. Cracks the door, just a crack. That's all we need.
Mm.
Sun's still shining, right? Just a crack and the sun can come in.
There's that beautiful Leonard Cohen poem, and it goes like this: let the bells that still can ring, ring. Forget about your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That is how the light gets in.
Mm.
There's good and bad in all of us.
Mm.
Right and wrong in all of us.
Mm-hmm.
The judger and judged in all of us. What was, what is, and what could be for all of us.
Mm. I
Just
found that
depends.
often when I just observe, the ego will come in and throw a little judgment in, and then it isn't observing anymore.
It definitely wants to be heard, doesn't it? The ego
Yeah.
definitely wants to be heard. Acknowledged. That's all you have to do is acknowledge it. Oh, there you are. That's what I said. Like, hello, judger.
I'll
Yes,
take
thank
you
you.
for a ride.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you. But here, go back over here. Thank you. We'll consider it. The judger, the blamer, the avoider, the prover. Right there. We all have our different tendencies.
Yeah, I like what that what's it called? Link Sandrell gave us, the saboteur.
Yeah.
That's a great word for it.
Mm. Self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
The wounding. We also call it the wounding identity. It's like that's to
Mm.
observe it, right? To observe. That's the behavior. That's what I do. Now we think we can see that in others, and again, it's only through ours do we see it. You all, thank you for an exploratory morning.
Yes. Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much,
Jesse.
everybody.
You all have a blessed day.
Thanks.
Good
You
day.
guys too. Bye.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Bye bye.